This is a quick start guide for the Excel Skills Inventory Quantity Control template. This template enables users to control inventory quantities by recording opening stock, capturing all inventory movement transactions, performing stock takes, and calculating stock quantities on hand for any user-defined period. The template does not include any cost calculations, so it's only inventory quantities that are calculated. Let's start with the stock code sheet. So on the stock code sheet, you can create all your stock codes for all your stock items. In column A, there must be a unique stock code. We recommend an alphanumerical code. Column B, a stock description. Column C, a unit of measure. And column D, if there's an opening stock quantities, you can enter those in column D. So all the yellow columns are the user input columns, and the light blue columns are automatically calculated. So that includes opening quantity 2, which is calculated based on the date range. So if the date range is anything other than blank, then the opening quantity 2 will in all likelihood differ from the opening quantity in column D. Then you have purchase quantities, receipts quantities, sales quantities, issues quantities, adjustments quantities, and closing quantities. So these are basically all the different types of transactions that you can record by using this template. So the date range at the top of the sheet, you can enter any date range. If you leave it blank, the calculations will be done for all periods. So let's look at the movement sheet next. The movement sheet can be used to record all inventory transactions. So you'll start with the transaction date, which can be entered based on your regional date settings. Transaction type. The transaction type can be an adjustment, issue, purchase, receipt, or a sale. So adjustment entry is like a stock adjustment for a stock take or any other type of adjustment to adjust the inventory quantity on hand. The issue transaction is like recording usage of a product. You can issue that product. Similarly, a receipt is a receipt of a finished product, so you can use the receipt type to do that, or if you transfer stock and anything other than a purchase for receiving stock can be used, allocated to the receipt transaction type. Purchase is obviously purchasing stock from a supplier, and sale is obviously selling stock to a customer. The customer or supplier name and document number can be entered in these columns, and then the stock code can be selected here. So all the stock codes that are created on the stock code sheet will be available for selection. Then your transaction quantity. So with purchases and receipts, the quantity will be positive, or the value. With issues and sales, the quantity will be negative, and with stock adjustments, it can be either positive or negative. So all the columns with yellow column headings are user input columns. The columns with light blue column headings contain formulas and are calculated. Those will extend automatically as you add entries to the sheet. So error code is just if there's something wrong with the input, there may be an error code reflected here. Stock description and unit of measure is picked up from the stock code sheet, and then we have a quantity on hand before the transaction and the new quantity on hand, and the last column is a movement date. So that's basically it. This is where you record your inventory movements, and these transactions are then automatically updated to the stock code sheet. So the stock count sheet can be used to perform stock takes. So you enter a count date at the top of the sheet. You add your stock codes to column A, and you enter your quantities counted in column E. The light blue columns are automatically calculated and will determine the theoretical stock levels as at the count date, and which is then compared to the quantities counted to make sure what your quantity variances are. Once you've determined your quantity variance, these quantity variances can then be recorded as an adjustment transaction type on the movement sheet to update your theoretical stock quantities and adjust them to the counted quantities. And that's basically it. If you want more information on the template, please go to the instruction sheet where we've included detailed instructions on every aspect of the template. You can also go to the support section of our YouTube channel where we post videos based on user feedback.